Alright, to get the Google Maps to work in Blender, I was just looking on Google Earth, just trying to find some areas, and some of these areas out here are you could say flat, or the terrain data just it doesn't have good detail for up close. So I want to show you like a mountainous area in the United States, which I'm pretty sure will have some good information. You'll need this plug-in GIS, and where you will get it is on GitHub. I'll put this link in the description. You'll download the zip file, and then once you're in Blender, you're going to come up here to Preferences, Add-ons, Install, and then you'll pick the zip file and say Install Add-on, and then you'll check it, Blender GIS, and then down here Save Preferences, and then you should have a tab right here that says GIS. You go to Web Data Base Map. You can pick Google or Bing. I haven't messed with the others. One of these just looks like a, I did try one of these, and it was like a National Geographic like illustrated map. It wasn't like satellite. So we'll go with Google for now. And anytime you zoom up with the mouse wheel, it'll have to download new terrain. If you've messed with Flight Sim 2020 and you downloaded a cached area to play off the hard drive, you'll know what I mean by the more you zoom in, the more it's got to download, like for more detail. And then if you zoom out a pretty good ways and you say get all the detail at high detail for this large area, then you'll be waiting quite a while. So let's zoom up with the mouse wheel to an area that's got some mountains. They usually make good you know, scenery. I mean, you can drive on it too, but just keep in mind when you're getting a big area to drive on, I mean, you like literally need like 100,000 K size resolution image for it to look good. So I mean, this stuff really is just good for a backdrop, in my opinion. But you know, people have different uses for it. I'll use these maps as a template, and then I'll more or less trace the area like with the terrain tools and hand paint it basically. But there are ways you could use the texture for like an overlay map also, but I won't get into all that here. Alright, let's find this elevated point that we want to use, and using the mouse wheel, I gotta make a decision where I want to get the map. It's kind of hard to see. But, I mean, I'm not sure what's high and what's low. I would guess that this green area is lower, and we got some good elevation. So I'm gonna hit L to lock the zoom level, and then you can see up here zoom 12. The more you zoom in, you can see it downloading, the more it's got to download for that zoom level. I won't take it all the way to 1-to-1 scale for an area this large. We'd be here all night. It's going to say building mosaic or mosaic. Now you're going to hit E, letter E, as in Edward, E. So depending on how much you've downloaded, you may have to hit E a few times. Because like there was a 25K resolution image I had made from an area I zoomed in pretty close. So once you hit E, you'll have just a flat, texture plane basically. You'll have to go back to GIS to web geodata and say get elevation. I usually use the open topography 30 meter. You can see what I mean about the textures. You get a big area and you put that car on here and start driving. This is what it's going to look like. But like I was saying, with you holding the L key or pressing the L key to lock it, you can zoom in and get an even sharper image. Granted that the satellite data is available at that zoom level at that particular place. So we got this. I'm going to just show you you can tweak the elevation to make it even higher, exaggerate it basically by coming over to here to the modifiers and DEM.001, select it, go to the material properties, the modifier properties, and this strength level is where you can adjust it to get a more exaggerated elevation. Also, keep in mind this is pretty low polygon, which I'm not really sure why it shows it like this. And I know there's more polygons than that. Oh, wait a minute. Let me back up here. These are just the different viewport shadings. Once you get what you want, you say, okay, I like this elevation. Go to the top one and the modifiers, just a DEM. And right here, you'll see this little arrow, just apply. And then the second one, hit apply. All right. There we go. Now we can see the polygons. I had to apply that first. You see it's not very many in there. If you intend on driving on something like this, you're going to have to select it, go to edit mode. Well, I thought that kept it selected. Select this X-ray toggle here. That'll make sure that when you pick it by drawing a box, it'll select everything. And you go up to edge, subdivide. I would subdivide it too many times. You remember you got to make a duplicate of this to drive on it. And then you got to consider all the other stuff that's going on the level. So, but you can kind of help some of this out by an object mode, go to modifier properties over here, and you'd have to see which one works best for you, but I don't see that doing anything really. There we go. It changed the scale. So that smoothed it out a little bit. Then apply it. Now to get it into the game, before you even get it into the game, you got to select this. Go ahead and just double click and name it something you can remember. You can delete this. This is the texture that you're going to have to make in Beam. So go ahead and double click it and name it something you can remember also. And remember if you used uppercase or lowercase. I can't spell worth of crap. I don't even know that. That's how you spell mountain. I tell you, it didn't spell check for me. Yeah, that's right. That's bad. I don't read enough, so there you go. Mountain test. Now you're gonna have to go down here to material properties, and where you see base color, undo this, and right here unpack item and use file from current directory. Error creating. Well, apparently it unpacked it. Alright, this location, I just copy it, and then in my software program I use GIMP. You can use whatever. I'll paste that location so I know where it's at. 244 megabytes. I'll go ahead and open it. $13K. Now this ain't a size that can work with a power of 2, so you can save it as a JPEG. You can see this is at 9%. At 100%, that's the size of the texture. So export as JPEG, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in my folder that I got my level, and I'm gonna name it something I can remember. I like this program because it's got a generic normal map filter that I can put on it also. And then I'll export that. I'll put an underscore in, so I know that's the normal map. That's the gonna be like makes your texture look 3D. It's like a shader. So back to the program, Blender. Now that I've done that, I will, in here in the texture tab with this selected, I will open that texture I just saved. Not the normal map, just the color texture. Okay, see, now it's set. Alright, now to get it into the game, oh, go ahead and save your work. It sucks when you gotta start over. And delete the light, delete the camera. Come up here to add, and go down to empty, and select plane axis. You need to add 2 of those. Double click over here and name one base 00 and name the second one start 01. Now to give you an idea what this is doing, you basically imagine you have a folder, and this folder is named collection, and then inside of this folder you have another folder named base 00, and then in that folder another folder called start 01. Inside of that folder is where the model's going. So with that in mind, here you have your collection, you have base 00, start 01, and your mountain, which they're not inside of each other like they're supposed to. So you can see this one is in the collection folder, and base and start 1 is in the collection folder, but actually scene collection would be a folder also, I suppose. So yeah, so there would be another folder called scene collection that collection is in. So it would be like this. Now you don't have to do this. This is just to illustrate what this is basically doing here, so you have an idea. With start 01 selected, hold down shift and left click and drag it into base 00. Then open base 00, do the same thing with mountain test, and once you've done that, then left click and move it into there. See, the first time you do it, you hold shift. The second time you just move it without holding shift. Sometimes it moves it all, sometimes you gotta do it in a couple steps. Why? I don't know. Just that way it is. Now also, this is to scale. However the satellite data stored, whatever, for this is accurate. So you got to make a duplicate of this. So with this selected, go to object, duplicate, hit escape, or it's going to move it around and you don't want that, so just hit escape to get it to be in line. It's going to automatically duplicate it in there where it's supposed to. So name this COLMESH-1. That's the collision mesh. And then to get it into the game, you just export Collida, and you put it in the same folder where you put your textures. Since I already copied the textures into there, I don't have to copy them, but if it's checked, it really don't make a difference, I don't think. Name it something that you're going to remember. Export. Don't worry about any of this stuff. Just export it. Exported 4 objects. So yeah, it exported the mountain, the collision mesh, and I guess it considers each one of these folders an object. Get into the game. The level that you copied it into, load it up. And then hit F11. And just in case you don't have any of this stuff on here, just go to Window, Material Editor, and right here, New Material, left click, and remember what you named your texture in Blender, Mountain Test. This is where you're gonna put that in with the correct uppercase to lowercase. I always use lowercase from now on when I'm making textures. That way I don't forget, well, did I use a damn capital M? Or, you know, so this just makes it easier to remember. Create, and you'll see this box. It's white. You'll go to the color map because that is the base color that you made. You'll pick it by just clicking on it, and you'll have to navigate to that folder. Which I call this mountain test. Not the normal map, the first one. And you see it's a 33 megabyte texture. So if you click on it and it takes a while, you know, just give it a minute. Open. And it can take a while sometimes. Then go to the normal map and pick the other one. The one saved as a normal. You can open a dedicated window if you want to look at the texture. I kind of show you what the normal map does. If you don't have a normal map, this is you know, it's just more flat. I mean, it doesn't look flat, but you know, it gives it a better, like a little more 3D effect. No, I'm not using the new 1.5 PBR materials. I'm just using the old ones. Now you can give it more of a 3D look by going to Advanced tab, and where you see Detail Map, change this to 1:1 and pick that same texture again. Which usually it shows you there we go. And the strength here, you see, the more you give it, that's just such a lot of crap. It's a big file. But you're not going to need an extra I unclicked it somehow. Just take this one off. That's a lot of you don't need all that anyway. Once you got it, save it. If you try to save it, it won't save it. Click on Save All next to it. I'm assuming it saved it. Then you go to Window Asset Browser and select All Models, and then type in the name of the model, and you should see it pop up. While left clicking and holding the left mouse button, drag it out of the window, and depending on the size of the model and everything, you may go to plan it and not see it. You can open your scene tree, which normally it's open anyway, and go to the very bottom. Anything you make goes to the bottom. You can double click on it to teleport to it, which I don't see it. It's invisible, which I see where it would be, but I don't see it. This happened one time before. So with it selected, open up the inspector, and the inspector tab, tell it to be dynamic. And I still don't see it. See, what did I miss? Did I miss something? Why's that shit still in there? Thought I fixed it. Why isn't that son of a bitch exporting? I tell you, sometimes these damn meshes from Blender, from that Google Maps, that shit ain't nowhere to be seen. I see it. You see it? I see part of it. What I was gonna say is they're about damn as dependable as a damn 10-day-old tampon. That's about my opinion about using them. About useless sometimes. So that is a big object. I'm going to type info to get to my how far I can see in the world. I'm going to tell my visibility to be 50,000. And there it is. They're all along. They're just floating up in the sky like a big ass planet. That's why I didn't see it. It was there. I just didn't. I'm kind of happy it's there because I've had that happen before where I bring it in here and it's just not here at all. So obviously it's we're underneath it, and I actually have two of them, which I don't need two, but I'm going to delete one of them and pick the other one, and then find the little handlebars to move it, which is there they are. Well, that's going to take quite a while. I'll set my camera speed to 100, pick a handle, hold shift, hit W and fly away. Get it into the ground. Oh, there's my map. See, I'm still way up here. It's actually below the ground plane, which we're not going to be using it as a background anyway, so let's just bring it above. We'll edit, rebuild collision, and then hit F7 to teleport. You know what? Let's do this. We made this big ass map, or this big land mass. Let's just have a little fun with it. See, I got the camera at like the fastest speed you can travel. And you can see it's taking a while. It's actually the fog, I think. I didn't bring it up high enough. So you can set the fog and all that crap. Actually, I think this is a bigger drop off. Let's go over here. Now, you know, there was more detail if I wanted to wait for it to download forever. But let's pick this spot here. That damn truck's just putting along. Something's got a little more. They're on the spoiler. I thought this thing had a drop off. Remember, we smoothed it too. Let's see. Remember, we tessellated it and we smoothed it. But I think you get the idea. I mean, I think personally, I mean, it makes great scenery. Like a lot of people, they make maps, they'll like put the map in the center and they'll use this for like the extra draw distance stuff. I made a few things like this, but I use a different method.